Knesset member Simcha Rothman, who is a member of the Knesset with the Religious Zionist Party, and he's one of Israel's leading voices on issues of law, democracy, governance. He's a lawyer, but he founded, not only is he a lawyer, but he founded the movement for governability and democracy, which advocates for strengthening the role of elected officials and rebalancing power between Israel's branches of government. Today, he serves as the chairman of the Knesset's Constitution, Law, and Justice Committee, where he was one of the main people behind our effort to have judicial reform. Knesset member Simcha Rothman, shalom. Shalom and welcome.
Shalom, shalom.
Now, you have been a campaigner for judicial reform. You have for a long time said that the judiciary elects itself. You have said that Israel suffers from a kind of deep state. I sometimes make a joke to people. I say, what you guys call deep state in America, we just call it the state here in Israel. But
we call it deep shtetl.
Deep shtetl, that's right. The deep shtetl, that's right. Now, the deep shtetl has taken a big hit this week with the revelation that the chief army prosecutor may have been involved, and it was involved most likely in the release of a video that went around the world and condemned Israeli soldiers as abusing Hamas prisoners. Let's watch a little Israeli video, a Hebrew video from the news. We won't watch the whole thing, but just get a sense of what's happening in Israel vis-a-vis this raging storm about the Army JAG chief officer.
סערת הדלפת סרטון כאלופה יפעת תומר ירושלמי, הפרקליטה הצבאית הראשית שיצאה לחופשה סמוך לפתיחת החקירה.
Okay, so this is here the chief JAG officer. As you can see, even by her insignia, she's really one of the top officers in the army. And her name is Yifat Tomer Yerushalmi, and she's been accused of being one of the people who actually caused one of the worst PR crises that Israel faced during this whole war by releasing a video that suggested, and then later on it was even dropped, and suggested that there was some kind of sexual abuse by Israeli soldiers towards Hamas prisoners.
ידעה על הדלפת הסרטון, ואף נבדק אם הורתה בעצמה על ההדלפה.
There's a suggestion, there's an accusation that she herself released this video and was in charge of okayed releasing this video into the public, which went global around the world and did tremendous damage to Israel. Here's your party leader, Minister of Finance, Bezalel Smotrich.
הפצ"רית חייבת לשבת מאחורי סורג ובריח.
Okay, he says that if this new information is true, that she has to go to prison.
ועם ישראל חייב להבין שהדיפ סטייט מסוכן.
The state of it, the nation of Israel needs to know that deep state is dangerous.
מסוכן ללוחמים שלנו ולמפקדים שלנו.
It's dangerous to our fighters and to our officers.
מסוכן לביטחון.
Dangerous to security and to democracy.
מסוכן לדמוקרטיה. ומסוכן לצדק.
Dangerous to justice.
התיקונים שאנחנו מובילים במערכת המשפט הישראלי נועדו לחזק את הדמוקרטיה.
The fixes that we're trying to make in the Israeli democracy is meant to strengthen Israeli democracy.
גם שר הביטחון כץ, בטקס סיום קורס קצינים, מתייחס לפרשה.
Okay, so here's the Minister of Defense.
אעשה הכל כדי לוודא שכל האמת בפרשה הזאת תיחשף.
I'm going to do everything to make sure that the truth comes out in the story and that it's not hidden, because what we have a situation that basically this kind of judicial junta is able to protect itself and defend itself and kind of cover it up. I'm going to make sure that the truth comes out.
ושכל מי שנטל חלק ונתן ידו לעלילה החמורה הזאת,
anybody who took part in this this besmirching of Israel's name,
ייתן את הדין.
Justice will find them. All right, so that is some of that story. I wanted to get it from your take, and as I understand that this is well within your field, the issues that you've been fighting for a long time. Is that right, Knesset member Simcha Rothman?
Yes, of course, and we have been talking about it for a lot of time. So the fact that she was not arrested, just by that shows what is the biggest problem in Israeli justice system. The fact that the chief legal advisor, Gali Beraz Miara, Attorney General, that supposed to be in charge, was supposed to be in charge of the investigation. Justice Minister Levine said you cannot be involved because you are in a conflict of interest. She said, no, I will deal with it. And the fact that we see the change when other high-ranking officials were investigated for leaks, especially for leaks that involved state security, they were arrested immediately. Their phones were taken away. Some of them were not allowed for legal advisor in the first few days because they wanted to make sure that no evidence is being tampered with. And the fact that it did not happen in this case might have, and I don't want to jump to any conclusion, but might have endangered the ability of the State of Israel to know what is the truth. And I think that the fact that the legal advisors, I have tomorrow morning a hearing in the Knesset on this issue, because the fact that the legal advisor did not recuse herself from this case already created damages.
Wait. What? Why should she recuse herself? Why is that?
She should recuse herself for a few reasons. One is it was the Attorney General people that gave a false affidavit to the Supreme Court on behalf of the JAG commander. So did they know? Didn't they know? What did they know exactly? What was told for them? They need to be investigated, right? She cannot be in charge of to investigate her own people. I have to remind you that the Attorney General said that Prime Minister cannot appoint the head of the Shabak because one of his people might be investigated, and now she is in charge of an investigation for her own people. That's a conflict of interest right there. There is also it was published and was never denied. She was asked about it in my committee and never gave an answer. That the Attorney General for the Army, the JAG commander, closed a case that was for her son. Her son was supposed to be investigated. The son of the Attorney General was supposed to be investigated on a criminal issue inside the Army, and the JAG commander closed the case. So how can she investigate this? All this, it's very troubling, and the fact that the news are unveiling as we are speaking now, and the fact that we know that this investigation was tampered with to begin with, when the Attorney General Gali Be'arav Miara did not recuse herself and start to get into a fight between herself and Justice Minister Levine and my committee, shows that she should never be in charge of this investigation. I don't know what damages she already caused, but it has to stop right now.
Knesset member Simcha Rothman, you and I were at an event in Jerusalem celebrating Judea and Samaria, together with American Friends of Judea and Samaria and JNS Media. I asked you to come on my show. I told you that I want to talk about the vote, the sovereignty vote. I didn't know we were going to have to talk about this whole Army JAG story. But then you told me a third thing. You told me another issue.
We talked about the new development, but the new development is not really new. The justice system in Israel, we're seeing now an example of the terrible things that happen in the justice system in Israel. We have the separation of powers of the legal advisor that the legislation that passed in the Knesset. After many months, it waited because of the ultra-Orthodox boycott on votes in the Knesset. So it was removed in order to pass my bill for the separation of powers of the legal advisor. The fact that what we are dealing with now, as we speak, we already had legislation that should have solved it. The fact that we have one person who is also advising to the government and his advices are binding. She's also represents the government in courts and decide what position of the government will be represented and what will not be represented. And also the chief prosecutor. And everything is under Gali Be'arav Miara, the Attorney General. That creates inherited conflict of interest that we are dealing now with, maybe with a tragic outcome of this conflict of interest. We have to deal with it, and we have to deal with it fast. And
Why does one person have so much power in our country?
No one touched no one touched these amazing powers that Attorney General have most of the time because of fear. We are talking about a person that can prosecute judges, can prosecute members of Knesset, can prosecute ministers, can prosecute the prime minister, can prosecute all the police officers. So the fact that he holds so much power prevents dealing with his power. So judicial reform, we passed it. We passed most of it, I have to say. We changes the way we select our judges. It will be in effect from next Knesset. We appointed an ombudsman for the judges. We passed the reasonability clause. The court said it canceled it, but the court lacked the authority to do so. We took away power from the bar, who held unaccounted power.
Unaccountable.
Unaccountable power. And this is a work in progress. We are now separating the roles of the Attorney General, and I hope it will be at the end holds such amount of power. One of the professors actually was a left-wing guy, who a professor for political science in Israel. One of the main experts was winner of a recipient of the Israel Prize and all the high prizes on political science in Israel. Professor Shlomo Avineri said that the most powerful person in the world, in the democratic world, all around the world, is not the President of the United States. It's not the Prime Minister of England. It's not anyone you can imagine. It's the Attorney General in Israel. The amount of power this position holds in its hand is really unheard of. There is no other country with this amount of power in an unelected official hands, and this has to change, and we're working to do it. My bill passed last week, and off we go.
Is the fact that a new head of the GSS, Israel's FBI, the Shabak, is that also part of that change that will bring to a kind of fresh air and more balance to the system?
Yes, of course, and I think without the appointment of the chief of the ISA, the Shabak, General Zini, I think if he wasn't to be appointed, we wouldn't get all this information. The information that we got now concerning what happened with this leak came from the Shabak, and the former Shabak head was actually working in very close proximity with the Attorney General. The Attorney General, as we saw, is covering this investigation. He's tampering with this investigation while suffering a severe conflict of interest.
Okay, two more questions for you, Knesset member Simcha Rothman. First one is the ultra-Orthodox are really they've left the government. They're not voting against the government, but they've left the government. And they had a major rally in Jerusalem, different numbers, supposed to be 1 million man, but it was 250,000 people probably, but it was a big rally. A lot of people that I know are very upset about that rally. There was everything from climbing on top of very tall buildings and cranes, which was endangering people's lives, to throwing bottles at Channel 12 reporters, to the very message, which is somehow that Israel, there were posters that even said that Israel's an enemy state. There was some really tough stuff there. And the background of it is that a large part of the society, or at least some of the rabbis, the leadership says they don't want to join the Israeli army. And so I've heard reports that in the next government in Israel, and right now it's slated to be elections in about a year, the right wing, the nationalist camp, does not want the ultra-Orthodox inside of the coalition. I want you just to get your reaction a little bit on the rally, on this. I'm working now with the ultra-Orthodox. There was for a long time a sense that there was a brit, a covenant between the right wing and the ultra-Orthodox camp. Is that fraying? How do you see it?
So first, I think that the alliance, the covenant between the ultra-Orthodox and the right wing in Israel is very deep, because the sentiment, the deep sentiment of the public, the ultra-Orthodox public, is very strong Jewish and very strong Jewish values. there is a big problem with the draft. I am a member of the Religious Zionist Party. It's not a secret. I volunteered to the army. I did not have to go. I volunteered to the army. I believe that going to the serving in the IDF is not only something that you should do because you're a citizen of the state of Israel. I think it's something that you should do because you're a Jewish person who keeps Torah. Because I believe the Torah tells you have to go to the army and you have to defend your country. And the best soldier and the example of what soldier and commander is King David. He was a Talmid Chacham and he was a soldier. And you can do both and you should do both. This is my view. The Haredi society was not built around it, though it wasn't such a. It's not something that cannot be changed or was not changed in the past. I grew up in Bnei Brak, a Haredi city. I went to Haredi school, which most of the families came from the Tilumi, from Religious Zionist Party. Most of my teachers had the reserve duty, and they participated in the army and joined, and I think it's a possibility to return to this era. It should happen in a way that respects the differences between the generally Israeli public and the ultra-Orthodox public. It should happen in a way that understands the needs of the IDF and the abilities of the IDF to cater to the needs of the ultra-Orthodox soldiers, like Hashmonaim unit, or like the different Haredi Hesder yeshivas that I'm very supportive of, and other means of them to join the IDF. It cannot happen if you go to a full blown-out war against the Haredi society. That will not bring Haredi soldiers. That's why we need to work. We don't need to give up on our values. We don't need to give up on the demand, but we need to work with them and not against them. And sadly, and again, it's mostly what created this conflict is the court and the attorney general. They created this conflict. They sent arrest warrants as if that's a solution. It's not a solution to send arrest warrants to people that you don't have units to get them, even if they come to the army. If all the people who got warrants to come to the IDF will come tomorrow to the IDF won't have anything to do with them because it cannot absorb them into the IDF. It needs to be a process. We need to work on this process, and I believe we'll see a great change in that. Even if we pass the draft bill for the draft, what's on the table today, if we'll pass it without getting any change, and I know that many people are upset because it gives too much or whatever, it will be more than any other government ever did to recruit Haredim into the IDF.
So how do you understand the protest? So you see it with
the protest comes because again, I do not agree with the protest, but I believe it was a huge mistake against the better judgment of the government. Attorney General Gali Barav Miara made the IDF send warrants and arrest warrants to thousands and tens of thousands of yeshiva boys, and this will not create any goodwill to bring the IDF any new soldiers.
Okay. Last question for you, Knesset member Simcha Rothman. When I open up your full background, I see some pictures. I see a picture of Charlie Kirk. I see a picture of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And then I see a picture of, who is that? Rabbi Druckman from...
and you see the Declaration of Independence. And also you see whiskey, but that's besides the point.
Okay. So just tell us a little bit about these three men that you have pictures of in the background, if you can. Just a little bit. Why you have these three men in your Knesset office?
Of course, no comparison made. I'm not comparing, of course, anyone from the pictures. But Rabbi Druckman was a great rabbi for the religious Zionist group in Israel. He was also a Knesset member, by the way, before. He understood that there is a need for the guidance of Torah to the work in the Knesset. As a faction, we went to consult with him many times and asked him about many issues concerning the decisions we need to make as politicians in Israel that wants to guide ourselves in the views of the religious Zionist spirit and the Torah. So we went to him a lot. May his memory be of blessing, of course. The Lubavitcher Rebbe, I think especially as someone who stands strong against the two-state solution and for sovereignty over Judea and Samaria, and to stand on the issues of Shlemut Haaretz, the fact that the state of
the wholeness of the land of Israel.
Yeah, one of the main values is that the Lubavitcher Rebbe was speaking about time and again, encouraged every politician that came to him to stand strong on this issue. It's connected to what we spoke in the beginning of even to speak. I would say to speak truth to power. Even when you stand with administrations in the United States that were much less friendlier than the current administration, he encouraged all the leaders of the state of Israel to stand strong on the wholeness of the land of Israel. And Charlie Kirk, as again, no comparison here, but also a very strong believer in to speak truth, to stand on truth, to be to say what you believe, that a discourse on the values is extremely important, especially for young people in this day and age. And he was killed because he was not afraid to speak his mind everywhere and stand on his values. And when I heard the news about him being assassinated, I was really devastated, and I thought, and for a week, I know he was a Christian, so no Shiva, but for a week I put this picture in the committee room, but I kept the picture even after in my room as a reminder of the importance of speaking truth and the importance of getting into debates, even with people who do not agree with you.
Knesset member Simcha Rothman, you are an MK at the Religious Zionist Party, and you're also the chair of Knesset Constitution, Law, and Justice Committee. Thank you so much for being with us today and talking about some of the tricky issues that Israel faces today. Toda rabah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That was really, really fun to speak with Simcha Rothman. He is eloquent, an English speaker, and knows the issues real well.